In this series of videos we're looking at SCORE, a very simple frame in which to help us gain insights about any kind of issue, strategic, tactical or otherwise. It's very straightforward. I've scrawled it out like you would scroll out on a notebook or on a whiteboard because that's the kind of places they're most likely to be used. What we have is we have a question that we're going to start with, which in this case is one which is, how do we improve efficiency? We look for the strengths, the capabilities that we have. We look at the challenges, the things that we need to do, the capabilities that we need to build. We look towards the outside world at options which are always opportunities and risks, always seen together. These we see in the outside world. And what is the information we're getting back from the real world? Well, one of the questions we always get asked is, where do we start? And the obvious one here is, if it's something of a quality factor such as efficiency, we're going to focus on effectiveness. Now, effectiveness are the success criteria, the quality concerns that help us reach towards the promise that we've made to our own shared enterprise, the broader space that we operate within. So if we look at efficiency, there's a useful phrase someone came up with where he said that every scrap of waste is something that we've paid for that we can't sell. And some examples that we might look for, some cues that we might use here are things like reduced waste, materials waste, reduce rework, reduce bottlenecks, themes of that kind that help us pinpoint particular areas that are inefficiency. Another one might be reduce technical debt. By that we mean look for the things that will trap us over the longer term, the short-term kludges that will come back to bite us. Those are hidden inefficiencies that are not immediate but are going to bite us really hard. So to do that, the first thing we're going to need is information. Do we have the information? That's the first question. So I'm going to put that as a challenge. Do we have the information? What is our current waste? We're going to need to look. If we haven't got it, it's going to be a challenge. If we have got it, we can lift it from our existing systems. But I then would want to ask, does this actually give us the information that we need? Often we're collecting information that is no use to us at all. So this is existing information. But the question here is the info any use? We can also look outside to our existing customers. We can look at the outside world. What expectations? For example, if people are using our product or our service in an inefficient way that's inefficient for us, then we need to know, because that will come back to reduce waste, particularly issues such as failure demand, where we've got vast amounts of hidden rework. Our customer service is often inflicted with that. Now, as each time we look at the wastage issue, there's a risk there. It's costing us. It's costing us in every sense: money, people, time, market share, reputation. There are lots of risks that arise from any of these. But if we resolve them, any inefficiency we resolve creates opportunity. And if there's an opportunity, we're going to need to test that, look for the information. So this is an example that might lead for a conversation of an hour or two to explore these options. Really what we're doing here is we're using this as a simple visual checklist which gives us trails to follow, not just making lists but giving us trails of exploration, trails of derivation, just as a visual checklist to look for what are our capabilities, the challenges that we have to face, the opportunities and risks that arise, and the responses that we either have or that we need to look for from the outside world that will help us improve efficiency. That's how we can use SCORE when we start from effectiveness as our starting point. Thanks for watching. Do look at the YouTube description for links to further detail. And don't forget to subscribe for other videos and also to support us on Patreon to help us produce these videos and the tools themselves.